This is Jonesy, and this is his squad.
And in today's video, they're gonna have to survive a 100-player Fortnite lobby, where they're gonna have to fight, build, and hide to try to stay alive and get a victory royale.
If you don't know what Fortnite is, it's a game where 100 players land on an island
and try to kill each other until there's only one team or one player left. The game starts on Spawn Island, where everybody loads in. And Jonesy and his team have just spawned in. This is Bright Bomber, Cuddle Team Leader, and Beef Boss. And they just loaded into Spawn Island, surrounded by all their enemies.
As they walk across the island waiting for the bus to take off, everybody stares them down, giving them mean looks and glares. There's a lot of people that are going to be trying to kill them on the island.
But this squad is unfazed. They're confident in their abilities. But there's one team that they might need to watch out for.
But they can't worry about that now. The bus is leaving and they better hop on. Everyone heads over to the bus to begin boarding. The bus is packed, and Ninja's their bus driver.
Oh, taper fate.
Everyone fastens their seatbelts and the bus takes off.
They all hop out of the bus one by one, as Ninja waves goodbye to them.
You know what's crazy is that low taper fade.
Then they all glide down to their first location on the map. Jonesy's the first one to land, and he lands on a small mountain with a tiny house on it. He heads over to go loot up the first chest that he sees.
He searches the chest, getting an AR and a big pot. With the big pot, he now has 50 shield. The rest of his team then glides in.
For the gliders, I used pieces from my giant Lego bin. I think I did pretty good. I also built an umbrella, which is very fun to spin around. The whole squad is finally landed. Bright Bomber and Cuddle Team Leader search the house, while Beef Boss breaks down the tree to get some mats. Now the whole team is looted up and ready to go.
But then Beef Boss gets shot in the back. They turn around and see a squad full of default skins.
Beef Boss pulls out his builds and places a wall and a ramp.
Then Bright Bomber gets into position with her sniper. She scopes in and aims for the head, taking out 2 of the default skins.
The other defaults hide behind the tree, while the 2 knocked default skins try to crawl over to get rezzed. Jonesy hops off the hill and runs over to the default skins to finish off the job, leaving only 1 default left, which Bright Bomber swiftly disposes of, eliminating the whole squad, leaving behind a bunch of loot. The rest of the team hops off the hill and runs over to collect some loot. They all grab new guns and heal up before they head out.
But as they headed out, they didn't realize the storm was slowly closing in.
But they continued trekking onto the next location, which is a giant statue of Beef Boss's head. They all run over to check it out. Beef Boss is so confused why there's a statue of his head on the island.
The others search the chests and get a bunch of loot.
But then all of a sudden, they see a team approaching them. Jonesy quickly pulls out his builds and builds a tower. Now he has high ground on the enemies. But the Leviathan pulls out his builds and builds a little structure as well. Pulling out a clinger grenade, he walks up and throws it at Jonesy's builds.
Knocking Jonesy to the ground.
The rest of the team runs and hides behind the Durburger, while Jonesy crawls over to get rezzed. Cuddle Team Leader is the one to revive him. She hands him a med kit to get back up to 100 health, but they can't get distracted because the enemy team is still there. Bright Bomber steps up with her sniper and lines up her shot,
taking out the Zoe skin. The Bright Gunner rushes the squad and builds a ramp to hide behind.
But Durburger also pushes him, jumping past the wall, taking him out.
Then he pushes Leviathan, taking him out as well. But then him and Battlehawk get into a shootout,
ending in Beef Boss getting knocked. But as Battlehawk's gonna finish Durburger, he gets sniped in the head by Bright Bomber, saving the day
and eliminating the whole squad.
They then rush over to res Beef Boss. Jonesy picks up the clinger grenades. He could use these for later. The rest of the squad also loots up before they head out to their next location. They come across a giant party llama. Confused on why there's a giant llama sitting in the middle of nowhere, they debate on what they should do with it. Bright Bomber suggests pickaxing the llama to see what's inside. A bunch of stuff falls out of the llama, including materials, big pots, and a grenade. They pop the big pots and then they head out. For the next location on the island, I'm going to be building Greasy Grove.
I placed down a couple of my Lego houses and the Durr Burger set that Lego recently released.
The squad walks up to the Durr Burger restaurant. Beef Boss is so confused why there's so many places on the island regarding his giant head. They all head into the restaurant to look around. Bright Bomber goes upstairs to search the chest, but it's already been looted.
They leave Cuddle Team Leader to be the lookout, and she sees a team approaching. She runs inside to warn the others. She tells them that there's a team approaching and that they need to hide.
They all duck down and wait for the other team to pass. But Beef Boss gets up too early and he sees his arch enemy, Tomato Head. They have an intense stare down. Beef Boss smashes through the front door, taking out Tomato Head and challenging the rest of his squad.
He places a brick wall to distract the squad, while his team flanks from behind the restaurant.
They get into a shootout, knocking 2 of the enemy squad. Then Beef Boss jumps behind the wall, finishing him off. The squad loots up, and Cuddle Team Leader gets a golden shotgun. But then all of a sudden, the storm catches up to them. They better head out.
They finally make it out of the storm, but they run into a giant beast.
This is Klombo, a giant dinosaur-like creature that roams around the Fortnite island. The squad doesn't know what to think of this creature, but Bright Bomber knows what to do. She walks over to this berry bush and grabs the Klom berries. Then she feeds the berry to Klombo. And then Klombo spits out a medkit in return for the berry. Now they have a medkit to heal from the storm. Then Bright Bomber tells them that Klombo can launch them in the air with his blowhole. She hops on Klombo's blowhole and he launches her in the air. The rest of the squad follows, getting launched in the air as well.
Then they all glide away to the next location. For the next location, I'm going to be building Tilted Towers, the most iconic location on the Fortnite island.
First, I built the iconic clock tower from the location. Then I added it among other buildings from my Lego city. Tilted Towers is the most dangerous location on the Fortnite island. All the best players land there. And right now, it looks like a complete war zone.
Bright Bomber is the first to glide in, but she gets shot out of the air by John Wick himself. She's now knocked down in the middle of Tilted. The next one to glide in is Cuddle Team Leader. She lands on the balcony of one of the buildings.
Next, Beef Boss glides in, going to save Bright Bomber. He places a brick wall in an attempt to get cover so that he can res Bright Bomber, but he didn't realize that there's people up in the clock tower.
They open fire on him as well, knocking him down. Jonesy finally lands, landing on top of Clock Tower, but the enemy team doesn't realize that he's there.
But another squad is trying to approach Jonesy's knocked teammates. But they get shot at by another team. The other team pushes in, trying to take out the rest of that squad.
But they need to watch out for Cuddle Team Leader. She jumps down, shotgunning 2 of them in the head. The other 2 turn around, but they both get shot in the back of the head from somewhere else. It was Jonesy. He's got Cuddle Team Leader's back. Cuddle Team Leader runs over to res her teammates, but John Wick and Raven are right there, and they take her out. And then they finish them, leaving only Jonesy left alive.
This squad thinks they've conquered Tilted, but they don't realize Jonesy's got a trick up his sleeve. He throws that clinger grenade that he saved from earlier at them, avenging his squad. He jumps down to go loot up. Now he's got a golden scar. Now it's only him and 3 other people. It's time to head to the final circle. He makes it to the final circle and he looks up and he sees something in the sky. It's a supply drop and it's coming straight for him.
Jonesy can't believe his eyes. He opens it up and he hits a bunch of loot. He gets a grappler, a legendary SMG, and a golden bush? But he doesn't have much time because the final squad is approaching him very quickly. He puts on the bush and hides. The final squad looks around for the final player, which is Jonesy, but they can't see him anywhere. The bush disguise works perfectly. They look everywhere, but they can't find him, and Jonesy is scheming a plan. Jonesy takes off the bush and grapples up towards the team. He gets up there in between all of them and spins around shooting them, taking them out, earning himself a victory royale.